Okay.
Look at us, Dawn.
Hello, this is Jen with the Awakened Jen Tarot, and I am one of the members of the Spiritual View. And today we're trying something different. We wanted to go live today to share the winner of the free reading for this month. And other than that, we just wanted to spend time with each other. So it's not a super planned session for us. So I'm going to give everybody opportunity to introduce themselves.
Let's go. I'll go. Hey, Elizabeth, True to Connections. Super excited. We get to do lives like this all the time now.
Hi, I'm Dawn, Astrology and Tarot Alchemy, and I think we've been talking about some great ideas that we want to maybe throw out there to you once we get that winner listed and we have a little talk with Angie.
Hi, I'm Angie from Learn Love Tarot. Hi guys, how are you? Welcome in.
All right. So we're going to just start by going ahead and doing the drawing for the free reading. And so it's a two-part drawing. The first part is we have to see who your reader is going to be. So I've got everyone's names. I'm just going to draw from this. So your reader this month is going to be, let's see.
Da-da-da-da.
Oh my goodness. It's Jen again.
Oh,
All right, so I do want to ask a question because I was the one last month. Do y'all want me to continue to put my name in each month? Do you want if we've done one, should I continue to put my name in? I don't mind doing the readings. I just don't want to hog the, so that's all I'm thinking.
Oh no,
So
I
that's
just don't
fine.
I just don't want you to feel like
No, that's fine.
with all that you do. One more thing.
Okay,
So it's really
well,
up to you.
I'm good with it. So
Okay.
we've got Marcia in the comments over here. All right, so
Oh hey, Salty Mama. We
all right,
missed
so
you.
I'm going to be doing the reading, and now I'm going to share my screen to get our winner.
I want to remember to look at the comments. This is so fun.
I'm going to pull that up. Comments.
Include your name.
Oh, I was like, okay.
All
Oh,
right.
here we go. Look at this raffle, Marcia. Look at this, you guys. This is so cool. Jen, you're the best with this.
I know.
Who is it? Oh, wait, we can't be the winner.
We won. That's adorable.
Okay, our substitute right here. Let's go with this one. All right, is Christy Escobar. That's going to be our winner.
Yay, Christy.
Congratulations, Christy.
And come
That's
back
awesome.
to the screen. All right, so if you will find me in the comments, we will connect and we will get connected for your free reading. All right, so Angie, you said that you had some interesting notes come in your messages this morning, so I wanted you to kind of share with us what you have.
Yeah, it's just like it's every single day. The synchronicities for me right now are just amped up. They're super amplified. And I think well, I have a stellium in Cancer, so I've got 5 main bodies there, but that's in my 12th house. So if you don't know a whole lot, if you're thinking about the clock, that's going to be from the 9 to 10 o'clock space on your home clock, right? But it moves counterclockwise. That is the very last slot of the 12. It's the 12th house, 12 out of the 12. Okay. So if you think about that, you're starting back at 1 really, because 12 divided by 12 is 1, right? So, and then you reset to the first house, and it always reminds me of the song, and we started back at 1. So that's the energy I've been feeling as far as everybody's at this divine Y point. And today's date, even though no matter when you watch this video, energy is cyclical. So anytime it's a 6th day, and you can figure that out by adding up all the digits to the day, though today is June 28th, 2024. That is a 6 for June. 28 is a 10, 1 plus 0 is a 1, and then 2024 is an 8. So that means that when you add that all up, it equals 24. 10 plus 8 plus 6. 2 plus 4 is 6. That is the day of freedom. And when Jen and I were talking about we're going to do a live or it's going to go willy-nilly, and then literally the first thing I said to her was, "Ooh, cool. it's a freedom day. And then George Michael's freedom just like blasted in my head. And so I started writing my notes. Those are all on my community page as I normally do. Now, 6 and 10 together is the energy of the tower, 16. Okay. 1 plus 6 is the chariot. So talk about freedom, right? You got to give what you take, though. So what I've been getting lately and seeing is we kind of tend to, I do it too, we talk about the one side of the chariot being, oh, your heart and your head are aligned and your soul drives the chariot, because that's why they don't have reins. They're doing it with no hands. But what a lot of people don't talk about, well, what is the shadow side of that? That is the impulsiveness, that is the impetuousness, that is the I'm getting in the car in my chariot recklessly. I'm going in because I want it now, right? And you really haven't thought through something. So it really is about, is this a soul choice, really? Or is it out of fear? Or is it out of selfishness? Just because I want to do something, I want to do it. And then tomorrow I'm like, oh, vey. Or I'm just dead set on going to do this thing, and damn the repercussions, and I'll deal with that later. So really it's like about this why point here, which part of the path, which way you go. Is it based out of fear, where it's all anxiety? And then I started seeing synapses firing in the brain, which are neural pathways. So this is all going to tie together, I promise. It eventually does come back around. So we have to create those new neural pathways, right? It's kind of like walking in the sand, and that's the path you've always worn down. And your thought is going to immediately go to that. So when we're thinking about doing something new, something that would bring us personal freedom, sometimes that comes with a little bit of, that's only scary because we don't know. The fool doesn't know where he's jumping, but that's really the whole point. It's, are you tapped in, tuned in, and turned on to your soul? Who is driving the bus? Is it the old neural pathways that are just familiar? Are we going to go down that pathway that is, the invisible cages of society? The invisible bars of our mind. Oh, I can't do that because fill in the blank. The invisible bars of our familial ties, the invisible bars of religion. I mean, insert any institution. We've all been through this divine why point. And then we think back and go, when were the best decisions? I felt it, right? I felt that. And then this morning, when I was looking at the tower, the chariot, and then the 8 year of strength, 6 plus 1, then when you divide that, or when you dissolve that down, 1978 might resound for some of you out there. The 6th day is the card of the Lovers as well. So again, you have this duality. And when you see the chariot, a lot of times you will see the divine masculine yang energy, the divine feminine yin energy. Those forces have to be balanced and come together in order for your soul to drive the chariot. When we're off balance, that's when we wreck the chariot, because we might be in fear, ego. We might be in, I just want it because I want it. A little bit of out of balance, King of Wands. I see it, I want it, it's mine right now. Damn the consequences. You're gonna wreck your chariot. Either way, if it's out of fear or if it's out of, I have not thought about what those consequences could be. You want to feel it. And then, so I wrote down, maybe somebody has a surprise trip coming. There's a shocking change of direction as well. Because when we think about duality, the opposite of the Lovers is the Devil, and the sister card to the chariot is the Tower. There's always going to be a shadow and a light. And then I wrote down a chance to chariot too. I'm like, well, where's collective going? Where are you going, collective? And then I just had, boom, the road less traveled. And I was like, I don't think that's what it's called. I knew it was Robert Frost, but I thought that was a line in it. And I was right. It's actually called The Road Not Taken. So I wrote down the poem, The Road Not Taken, to Robert Frost. And then when I re-listened to George Michael's song like 5 times this morning, I saw all the parallels. And I was like, wow, just nerd alert. This is so cool because it's all about, I mean, that was 1990. It's the year I graduated. I didn't realize that. I had no idea. And it was all about, he's talking about, there's somewhere I've got to be. No, there's someone I've got to be. It's the innate sense of that's soul. That's when your soul pulls you. And I don't know why I'm feeling emotional about that. Wow. It's because of the knowing. It's the niggle. And it's dropping the fear anyway and doing it anyway. And he said, you know what? Because this is a whole different time. 1990, like grunge and, all that. It was not easy to come out and say, hey, MTV, sorry, I know I have this huge contract and I've made this music and I made these deals and I have all these women chasing me, but I don't dig women. It was 1990. It's a whole
So
lot
cute.
different, So those two things going together. And I just did kind of a whole sheet on my community page about how to know when you're on that middle step. Do I keep going up or do I go back down? Which way do I go, George? And it's about, is this one decision, fill in the blank, whatever it is this going to get me closer to the life that I desire? Or is it going to get me further away from it? Or is it going to delay it? And if we can just boil that down right into the heart, we know instinctively which one that is. But when we don't choose that heart choice, and that tells us right there, that's the cage. That's fear. Because we desire something so much and we know, oh, that would be so cool, and then we put all these bars on it. So I would just love for the collective to consider, the lovers and the devil. The lovers is the choice, but that's actually a choice. It's not really, it's already been decided. Your soul already decided it. It's your human choice to follow your soul or not, because that's what your soul wanted you to do. You feel that or not. And on the other side of that, lovers, is the devil of fear, the devil of addiction, the devil of overthinking, the rumination, the stinking thinking. And so I made a little middle finger for the devil. I did. And I wrote down status quo. And it's like, F you, status quo. And I'm not going to do what I've always done. I am going to take the road that I did not travel the last time. I am going to take the one that doesn't already have footprints on it, because that's where my soul's chariot is pulling me. It's a heart open. It's not oh, I'm afraid. It's that fool's leap of knowing, and you just have to trust it. And when we do that, universe will absolutely be there for us. And I'll kind of pause there, because it's take these lies and make them true somehow. That is the old path with the bars, because you're conforming. I'm going to have to lie about myself, and then I'm going to have to fit myself into that cage. It's not really my soul's calling. That's the fear, right? There's someone else I've got to be. And when we tune into that's not the status quo, and take that fool's leap, you got to give what you take. You got to be the energy of what it is that you want. You can't just want it. You have to take steps to show the universe, it's just physics. I'm physically putting energy and taking a step towards this. That then creates momentum. Think about when you get a car rolling, right? Or if you've ever, again, old, but if you've ever had to have a jump start with just a rolling jump start with a stick shift, there are no cables. But you got to get the momentum of the car going so you can throw that clutch in and then the car starts. I'm not a car person. I'm probably describing that terribly, but you got to get the momentum. There's people that are pushing the car, and then you drop it into gear and the car starts and you're off. No jumper cables. But you were not able to start your Chariot had that push or had that roll not started. That's what starts the car. So just take the first step.
Can I hop in?
That was a bit long-winded. I'm sorry.
No, that was awesome. And you inspired me to just drop a couple nuggets with that. The
Yeah.
energy around the letter Y that you were
Uh-huh.
Zebra. I don't have the card to show you, but it's original. Loners, energy divided, humanitarians, see the world in a unique way, influences, creative and inspiring. Kind of
Yeah.
sums it up. And then some of the energy around 6, generally speaking, in a different way, is about emotional healing. You are no longer numb, opportunity to heal emotionally. Abandonment issues, fear of change, may experience loss or death, emotional imbalance, emotional recovery, feeling overwhelmed. So there's all this, what you're talking about is like, oh God, I need to go. Get over, just not get over it, but take that path.
A
right?
line.
Yeah, draw the line. Don't be so about that Y energy. Also, with the loss, right, is the birthing of newness, like you're saying, around that energy of 6. Some people may obviously have confidence issues and fear of the unknown right now with what we're going through. Fear of letting go of the old, like you're saying. Loss of control, expression of grief, such a collective thing. Anger issues, of course, grounding will help. Faith and trust will help. Believing it to then see it, not having to see it to believe it. And lastly, strengthening your personal power right now as we move forward is awesome. And I know Dawn and Jen can chime in on this too.
I was going to talk with the Y thing. So we're all at this Y point right now. And I think that one of our problems is that we don't actually choose. Like we sit there and we're still trying to hold on to this past, but we're wanting that future and we're just sitting there. We won't actually make the decision. It's like we're wanting something to kind of lead us. But I think that the message here is that we actually have to make the decision ourselves. And once we make that decision, that's what starts aligning us to the actual path that we're headed on. But so many of us are sitting just right there at the middle of that Y and not making the decision. Because it's scary. Because like you said, with the Fool card, you don't know. You have I'm thinking of the one where you're jumping off the cliff. Like she's about to step off the cliff, you don't know. And it is the biggest leap of faith that you have to take to, really choose. I'm going to let go of that to move towards this path.
Yeah. Let go of the bumper.
John, you got to talk about all these retrogrades and Neptune and Saturn and
Yeah, and Saturn retrogrades Saturday, starting on Saturday. But I do think too, because I went to a Joe Dispenza thing, and one of the things that he talks about is you got to get out of your regular routine in just little ways every day, like go to a different coffee shop, go to a different grocery store. You don't know who you're going to run into. You don't know what maybe you'll go to a coffee shop and then you'll see this sign about somebody's going to be doing a concert somewhere, and then you go to the concert, and then you're going to get the same old thing unless you step out into a new energy. It's that 15 minutes, 15 minutes of insane bravery is what we talk about. And really you are like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm doing this. And then you just go ahead, that Mars energy, you just go ahead and do it anyway. And then you're like, look what happened. This was what a great rabbit hole to go down into. And one of the things I think that we had talked about right before we came on was we want to do more lives. And if you guys all want to speak up, but with the idea of us being able to interact with you in that live manner and do different things, like do a combination of a little bit of a tarot, a little bit of astrology, or a little bit of, numerology, and a little bit of card, more card reading, and do things like that on a regular live basis, so that we can get more of your energy in, and we could get a chance to maybe spend 5 minutes for people that are in the comments, and have them get an opportunity to play with us a little bit more. And we would love that, because we have such faithful followers, and I know there's certain people that follow all of us and are always commenting, and we are so appreciative, and just love, 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 love that you're so supportive of us. And we have felt like a community, the people that are in the spiritual view, and then the community that we're creating. Not only, I think having more than one tribe is okay, right? We have our own tribe system here. I'm still part of Pathfinders. I have my own tribe, the tribe system that is with Mary Jo, and then my astrology tribe that I, dork out with. So we want that for the people that are watching us as well. And we feel like we're really bringing that energy all together. So please comment, whatever you want to see. We are more than happy to play with you in any way that we can. So
Yes, we are co-creating with you. And you said 15 minutes, Dawn. So all the little syncs that you can pick up like that, 15 is our sister card that's the 15 card, it's the devil, right? And that's the opposite of the 6 card of the lovers. So 15 minutes of insane bravery to face that devil of fear. It's just a feeling. It's not an actual thing. There's the tower energy, right? And then when Liz said the actual letter Y, I was like, oh yeah, it's the 25th letter of the alphabet, which is a 7, which is the chariot.
Think we
Which
need
is
a little
also a very
balance.
angelic frequency. So if you guys can kind of start seeing those and noticing the syncs, those are included in the little niggles of, okay, we're on the right track. When all those weird, I don't think anything's weird anymore, but when those, weird things happen like that, I've never even thought about it like that before. 15 minutes of insane bravery. Well, that's the devil card. And what is the devil but fear? It keeps us chained to our old neural pathways.
well,
And then we don't create new.
Look at the balance that came out too.
I like what Sabrina said in there too, where she was driving to the mountains and she stopped and she got out and looked at it, looked at the water, which, by the way, I did that, and the fact that you stop and take that moment, and then the peace that she got from that is so exactly what you should be doing, because it breaks, it gets you out of the monkey mind, is what I'm saying. It gets you out of that constant monkey mind of, I've got this to do, I've got this to do, I've got this to do. And when you're when you're setting intentions, and when you're using the law of attraction, you have to learn to release. And part of that is getting into that peaceful state, not checking on it every 5 minutes, because the universe can't, if you won't let it go, the universe can't work its magic while you're not looking. So it's like I always tell people, just get where you're not thinking of anything, because then the universe is like, okay, they're not looking. We gotta get busy.
I love that.
Get the stuff in place, because they're not watching right now. And I really feel that energy for people, that if that's the kind of thing that, whatever, staring fire, watching water flow, in all of those things, just listening to the leaves as the wind goes through the trees, all of those things, if that's the only thing in your brain, sound bowls, all of that, when you eliminate anything else going on in your brain, that's when the power of attraction starts flying for you.
And ask, what is the wind? If you hear the wind, what is the wind trying to tell me? Well, oh, hi, Mr. Crow. What you trying to tell me today? Stop and pause, because they are telling you something. There's a reason. Use your 5 senses. What am I hearing now? Why did I pause? I'm not just seeing 1111. I'm pausing and I'm going, what do I smell, see, taste, hear, feel? What was I thinking about? that is how you find the patterns of why that number is showing. Yeah, it's cool that the number shows, and we talk all the time. We geek out like, oh my God, 22 will not quit, things like that, which is fun. But when is it happening? How is it happening? How is it occurring? What are those synchronicities? And I saw in the comments, what was it, Laura, that said, oh no, Salty Mama, thanks, Marcia. Today's June for a 6, and then the 28th is a 10, which is really a 1. So that particular day can be a 7. Add in the 8, of course, we get 15 double, and then we've got our lover's energy. But here also, just as an aside, it's Community Festival weekend, and we are in Pluto retrograde in the community sign of Aquarius. And not only with those double numbers, we had on the Eastern Standard Time 4:44. And I know Jen was having that early. The 4s were going crazy earlier in the week in your cards. At 4:44, the moon is conjunct Neptune in Pisces, and that's here, of course, Eastern time. I just think that's a cool synchronicity. So, and I just jotted in my notebook, something on hold, because 3 4s is a 12.
Like
So
222.
There you go.
I always take a screenshot.
Yeah.
At one
Which
point,
is
I had like
six.
100 of them.
Which is our
Rebecca,
6 of
congratulations on your
lovers.
car, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Comment.
I have to look.
And getting back out into the
yeah.
world again. She said that she's been the illness for 5 years. That's amazing.
Oh,
Oh,
congratulations.
That is
Rebecca
amazing.
Jo, yay.
You guys, you know how I geek out on my signs that I ask for and get and sometimes don't get? Well, I was walking the other day and I think I found an owl feather. It was the most beautiful thing. I was even walking live on TikTok. I dropped it. I went back 3 times thinking I might find it. It was just like, here you are, here's your sign, and no. So it got a little sad. And since Rick died, and you guys will fill in on our little dramas another time, it's been 8 years, but I always said I want to see a golf ball, and I need to hear the name Gilbert. No golf balls, but I'm all upset about the owl feather, and Spirit gave me a feather, and I lost it, and I stepped out at the weirdest place, not a golf course, none of that. I step out of my car, golf ball, a very old golf ball. Finally got my golf ball.
Wow, that's super
I know.
cool.
It probably doesn't mean anything to anybody in the comments, but you guys know how I geek out about that.
Yeah, but that's
Now
what
I'll
we're
let
talking
you
about.
know when I hear Gilbert.
Synchronicities.
And I like where
Yeah.
Angie was describing how to use the synchronicities. Because I mean, I think we get like 111, 222. Well, what do we do with that? Like, I think, what is that message? What are they trying to say? How do you figure out what that message is? So I like that you were kind of sharing, like you stop and you take in the senses. You start thinking about what you were thinking about at that moment when it showed up.
Exactly.
And that can be different. What 444 or 222 might mean to me. For me, I go right away to 444. That's a 12. That's hangman energy. What's on hold?
Yeah, for me, that's protection.
1234 is
it's protection.
Yeah, right. And then it's like, because that's spiritual, that's your angels are right there with you. Like, keep going. They're egging you on. 12:34 p.m. or a.m. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are steps up. 4:32. Oh, something's coming. Countdown energy. So that might be different for every single other person, but my guides and angels know that that's what that means to me. And they notice that I'm noticing it. So then when you kind of start playing your charades with them and assigning your own symbols and your own things, then you'll get more of that.
It's like
when you're starting to notice. Yeah.
Right. It is like playing charades with them because you haven't been awake to know what they're trying to say to you. So then you have to develop that language between the two of you. And that's how it starts. First of all, they use repeating numbers to get your attention, like, hello, hello. And then you can actually start asking questions like, okay, if you're trying to get a message to me, then you ask for a sign, and then make it a sign that consistently will mean the same thing over and over again. And then that's how they'll know to communicate that with you, because that's
Yeah.
the language that you're setting up with them.
Yes.
So that's very, they will talk to you in the way best that they can get through to you. And you can say, and you're going to have to make it loud, and because I'm not going to, like, it has to be huge, make it big. I'm new at this, and it'll happen in that way. And it'll happen in a way that you're not even expecting, right? Like her stepping out of her vehicle and going, what?
Yeah.
You guys read what Rebecca wrote. That makes me want to cry. It is making me cry. That's so sweet, Rebecca.
Aw. And say thank
I
you.
love that.
And when
That's
you get
brilliant.
those,
Yeah, that's
say thank
really
you. That's an amazing thing, right?
no, she really made me tear up. Thank
Yeah.
you, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Love that. Now I feel better.
Rebecca is so supportive on all of our pages and through our videos, and we just really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Oh gosh, you made me feel better, Rebecca. Thank you.
And
I
those
was
are
really
signs
taking
too,
that
like,
thing.
oh, we're doing the right thing together. This is like a positive little step for us, right?
Community.
And now we're adding to that vibrational frequency. The light gets brighter the more lights you put on. And when they're all in the same room,
Guys are
boy, we can
so
make a concert.
emotional.
You feel it.
So that's kind of how I'm starting. Like, I'm seeing those pictures in our head of just boom, 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 boom. You know how when all the lighters start going in a concert, there it's that unison. Everybody is feeling that frequency of energy. So it's the same thing.
Right, Larissa?
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's
Totally
just
making me cry.
absolutely gorgeously beautiful.
One of the biggest questions I see us get is how to build this community. And so, I mean, I love that we're doing things right now to try to help bring more people in. I mean, it's needed at this
Yeah.
time. It's one of the things we were talking about before we started. So any ideas that we have to help do that, I mean, and we're asking for the viewers too, to help give us, like, what are you looking for as well?
And even in classes, even with classes, kind of what you'd be interested in doing. Because I know Miss E. Elizabeth Liz had talked about doing some things with numerology. I'm interested in teaching about asteroid goddesses this fall with a fellow astrologer, and bringing some of that information to you guys as well. And I know Angie, the way Angie's mind is just like this quick fire synapses of connections. I'm like, I watch her and I'm like,
It's
look
amazing.
at all the connections happening.
She puts so many pieces together, just right there,
right.
live
So-
town.
Did I have
Amazing.
notes?
Yeah, I'm like in awe, like, oh, because I'm Gemini
I'm much
rising.
slower thinking than that.
Yeah.
So,
Gemini rising. I'm like,
My
that's
mouth
cool.
can't talk as fast as I'm thinking. Yeah.
Well,
Which is surprising.
and I can follow you because
color
I'm
coded.
Mercury, right? Mercury rising. I'm like, oh,
Like,
that's,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it. I know
We
exactly
follow
what
you.
you're
We just can't do it. I mean, and you color code everything.
Oh my gosh, the color coding with me. I mean, my closet, my writing, like, it's ridiculous. Like, even today's date, because we're, up in the 6th, which is our third eye, I write my Friday. That's purple of the date of when I start just looking at the energy. I literally just start with the vibration of how the day feels, the numbers, and then I just start seeing patterns there. And, I got the 1978 thing, and I saw that Marsha was like, no way, that was the first awakening, the first awakening, the unwakening. Somebody might, oh,
unlearning.
okay, that's what odd little channel drop in there. So you don't unwaken, you don't lose it. You're just not in your vibrational frequency. This is for somebody. You're just not in your vibrational frequency for you to hear the messages right then. So it's always about energy first. How can I quickly change my energy? Listen to a song that gets you in a higher state. Send a friend a funny GIF. Like yesterday, I sent Jen, it's like, oh, we're all joining hands and jumping out of the plane. And then right afterwards, I said, but also this. and it was two friends, each were in a laundry basket on a treadmill and just holding on with like helmets. It was hilarious. Like it's but also this.
I color code. I
You're
color
just out
code
of
my
alignment.
closet. Does that count?
Yes, I do that. Yeah, closet, everything. But I guess the point is that some, like if you think, oh, I was awake, but I'm not anymore. That's not true. It's just that your energy is your personal energy, your own vitality is not up to speed where we are when we hear our messages.
And that's normal.
And that's totally normal. You haven't lost anything. You just need to do your 5 tricks, put them on the refrigerator. What are the 5 things I can do? Phone a friend, text a friend, like look at a funny GIF, look at a funny poster, listen to music, play with my dog, go take a walk, get some sun on my face, go talk to the bird, go outside and go, okay, what animals are going to come talk to me today? And they will. You will see things that you did not expect to see, and then you'll see the things you asked to see. What does that mean? What are the animals doing? How many of them are there? What kind of energy is going on around them? What color are they? Right? So those are all messages to us. Our animal friends are the best energy readers ever. So allow that to open your mind and kind of be like, I'm feeling really stuck. Go for a walk. Okay, animals, show me what a next step is. Can even just be that. Or how can I raise my vibration? Let's go on a walk. You will come back better. You will come back feeling better. I came home the other day, looked up honeysuckle. I hadn't smelled it. I like every year that smell comes and just washes over me and whoosh, and it's back to grandma's house where everything was comfortable and love. And, there's always those things. And I felt 10 times better. So for me, that was, you are loved. You are home. We are here.
I want to go
that's
to
it.
Narnia with you, Marcia.
Lilacs.
I'm having
Live in
fun with
Narnia.
this
Yeah. I want Narnia. I want Narnia. Yes.
I
We'll
love
go.
Narnia.
I wanted to respond to Larissa's comment. So my first video was my 15 minutes of insane courage, and this is where it brought me. So like I very
Yeah.
much encourage everybody to take that leap.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, positive vibe tribe for sure.
My first video is private. I'm not showing you guys that stuff like the first month.
You just have to go, right?
That
It's like,
1%, just the 1% improvement every single time.
And
I like to sit on the floor. I honestly thought I could do this sitting on the floor.
groundedness.
I'll be different. I'll sit on the floor.
well, and don't you think that just it doesn't matter your age either, because it's like I first stepped away from working for a company for 40 years, right? And right before I did that, I decided at age 55 I was going to become a Zumba instructor, because I wanted to do it my way. And so, and I will tell you, that's why every time Angie is talking about music and dance, because I preferred Zumba Gold because I believe the other there's less risk of injury when you do Zumba Gold. But I would choose all different kinds of music, and in a little Minnesota town, and play Latin stuff and a blend of everything. And I had ladies who don't speak Spanish downloading music.
Love it.
So
nice.
So, and dancing and enjoying themselves and being out there. And so get your favorite tunes from when you were in high school and just turn them on and turn it up and dance. And your mind will immediately, that is a super high vibe thing. So
totally.
And then your brain is so focused on that. That's one of those, it's one of those, it's like doing, yoga. I'm sorry. It's that freedom of your body and your mind at the same time. And you can't get any better than that. And it is a manifesting tool. It is.
Are you
It's a
you
get
still
out of jail
teaching
free
Zumba?
card.
Are
That's a
you
get
still
out of the
teaching
mental
Zumba?
bars free
Do I
card.
still, I actually, I had to stop for a little bit because of my cancer surgery and
Right.
treatment and stuff, and they wouldn't let me teach. And now I'm getting I still have a little bit of radiation pneumonitis, but I'm getting back into it. And I tell you, when they came into my class, you had fun. And it's not, and it was like, I don't care how much you move.
Yeah, right.
If you move and you're happy,
I love
So,
that.
so we're
your
having a
balance got
Zumba
better.
class at some point with Dawn. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're
Oh.
having, yeah, that'll
all
be
gonna
a
go in
Friday
unison.
live.
Yeah.
Well, and then yoga with Angie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
about the joy.
little belly dance mini lessons on.
Oh, I can't. Nobody wants to
I was
see
thinking of that as you were saying that, Dawn, as far as like there's two different, there's many genres of everything, just like there's 5 chords of all time, right, that have created every single song. Like if you are like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling super flighty, like I'm just like all over the place, then that would be more tribal of a dance style because you're bare feet, you're flat footed, everything is pulling down. It's very slow and sinewy, right? It's very like just pulling into your spine, into your core, and pulling to your root. Whereas Egyptian style, some old school dancers wear dance shoes, anything sparkly. So we go from like dreads and dark colors and just like tribal style jewelry to glitz and glam and the scarves and the dance of the 7 veils and everything sparkly, and we got our tiki on, and it's just very higher paced music. And if you are dancing barefoot, I always dance barefoot, but you're up on ball. So you're kind of coming up into your conscious, you're coming up into your joy, right? So you're either grounding down into tribal style and the music reflects that, or it's a little faster pace. That's something that's going to liven up the crowd, right? There's going to be different music and different styles for what you need. The music will do that for you. It's like the little cheat sheet of, energy. It's always about your energetic frequency. That's the only thing that controls a darn thing. That is it. That is it. So yeah. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, so I think there's all these different methods that people can use, and again, there's people that do that stuff in a chair. I mean, you can do that
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of movement and
Yoga.
stuff in a chair.
Mhm.
We teach chair Zumba as well, but chair that
Yep.
kind of dancing.
Mm-hmm.
How does that? It's the energy that you create,
Yep.
and it's what makes you feel happy, and
Yeah.
it doesn't. There's like I decided to do, like I said, 55, and then I decided to become an astrologer, and also then a tarot reader, and not just playing with it, but doing
Doing it for
study
your
and doing the
work.
work. And what made me decide to do that? My Mars probably, but it's that very definitely.
Soul.
Yeah, you just connect in, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna take a risk, and
And
that's
it feels good, right?
right.
Yeah.
You will be so surprised. You have to get uncomfortable to make your wildest dreams come true. You do. You have to do something that makes you uncomfortable to get that amazing synchronicity that's going to happen for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it doesn't. I mean, I travel. I'm like flitting around all over the place, and I think if that's what you want to do, then like, well, why can't I do that?
Exactly.
Right? What's telling me no?
Right.
There's no such word as no.
What invisible bars are you creating for yourself, right? Or what excuse is
I would
that?
say the majority of people are going to say money. So how do we address that?
The
Energy
second house,
first.
the second house is supposed to be like the money house. But when I went to this astrology conference, what they talked about is that's not money. That's your resources.
Mhm.
So if you are someone who, and Joe Dispenza talked about this person who really wanted to travel the world, and she wanted to be able to do that and do photography. So what she did was she went to an airline and said, you know, I want to be able to do and travel here and work with this. And then what happened was she just asked them for free travel and to their destinations. So then she went and took photos of these destinations and things. And then it got to the point where hotels kicked in, stays for her. So she was traveling. I mean, it's your resources, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
money. And
yeah, it's taking the steps.
We
Being
exchange.
able to see it in a broader sense, that it doesn't have to
Yeah.
come from your exact efforts
Right.
to bring in the
Mhm.
money.
Right.
Yep.
It's second house is resources. It's resources. Second house is your resources, and the eighth house are other people's resources. And
Mhm.
sometimes you will get benefit from other people's resources for
A
you.
sister, yeah,
Right.
they're pinging across the hallway. And second house too, I was like, oh duh, I didn't ever think of that. The second chakra, that's our sacral chakra, our orange, which is our creativity. So like if we don't have the resources, I just talked about champagne dreams on a beer budget on one of my last two readings, can't remember which one, because that's how we grew up. There was no choice, but I learned how to be extremely resourceful. So it's our resources. And that can be, how can I make a little out of a lot? Our resources aren't just, the pinnacles of money, yes, but it's also time, energy, talents. A talent is making a little bit out of a lot. A talent is going to that counter, like Don said, and going, I don't have the money to fly, but here's my talent. Here is my my personal resource. How can I make that work to expand it? And that's exactly what she did. And look, that's what we're talking about. Look what happens after that. You keep turning the lights on and it gets brighter and brighter and brighter with every step, because that is showing you alignment. When we get no after, and this is not about pushing past the nose. It doesn't feel good. And like, there's that niggle in the back of my mind that I know this is not good for me and I'm doing it anyway. Why is that? Because usually it's a neural pathway. Usually it's our body. It's a biological response. We're not terrible people. Our body is used to responding that way. And we have to understand the difference, that our bodies need time away from that stimulant to help that fear be released. Sacral chakra, false evidence appearing real. That's also stored with that creativity. Blocks your blocks your creativity. If that friend had said, oh well, no money, I'm not ever going anywhere, well then she wouldn't. She went to the thing,
Well, and there's an easy for anybody out there, and I'm a part of this too because of my daughter-in-law and son. I belong to Trusted House Sitters, so I pay like a $200 fee to do this a year. But what happens is I can look at, and it's worldwide, but I've stayed out in Seattle where you go and, I'm a woman by myself. So they don't give you money to do it, but you apply, and as Halston, she told me that you're like a golden unicorn. You're a single older woman who doesn't smoke. So
yeah,
you're going to be in high demand. And I don't really, because I have my own dog and my other stuff going on, but I can go somewhere and it's just, I traveled out there. So it's the cost of the airline ticket to stay in Seattle for 10 days. Not have to pay for
that is
it.
so smart. You use your freaking resources. That's a talent to go, how can I get around this issue of the no money thing?
Right. And that's
brilliant.
Way. Like, okay, fly dirt cheap, get there.
Yeah.
And I had it. And then you get to meet really cool people and lovely animals.
Oh, how nice.
But it's like, if you go to London, there's always somebody that needs house. I mean, Halston's like, yeah, London and Sydney, Australia. You could never have to pay for a hotel room when you get there. And
that's
watch somebody's cat,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, darn. Yeah. I get to have love while I'm here and a high vibrational animal to keep me company. Shoot.
Right.
I just want to, you guys, I want to point that out before it goes away from Sabrina about a virtual retreat
Oh,
day where
yeah.
we dance, learn.
Oh, that would
I
be
mean,
fun.
it's-
idea.
I
I
had
love
to
it.
jump in because it kind of ties into like how can you do things without spending money and how
Yeah,
do you connect and
totally.
like everything in one thing there.
So
That's a
how
good
do we
idea.
do
I
Yeah,
actually
that's a
have
good
That's the
idea.
next
experience with
planning
that.
meeting.
Okay, so
And
virtual
again,
retreat.
Rebecca, I'm so glad that you're healed like this and you can dance. You'll have to
That's very
share your
inspiring, Rebecca.
story. Yeah.
to-
Virtual
Um,
retreat.
So Larissa
Awesome. I
says
love
she
it.
has Jupiter in the second house in Gemini. Do you want to?
Oh, Jupiter. So Jupiter has gone into the second house. And so is Jupiter, do you have your natal Jupiter in Gemini? Because that would be really cool. The second house is your house of money, your house of resources, as they say. I have now started because I went to this seminar and I'm like, yeah, it's resources. It's not just money. It's resources
Creativity.
I have none. I
and
have
people. People you have
Saturn
for
in
resources.
retrograde at
Yeah.
29 degrees.
And so there's a lot of that's because then you'll have your natal return in Gemini, which is something that'll set up your energy for the next. And if you were born during the day, that's an extra plus on your dance card, because Jupiter is the most benefic planet for someone that's born during the day, and that brings that extra energy of communicating and travel. Jupiter loves to travel. Jupiter loves to, in Gemini, it's across from its home sign, but it doesn't actually do that badly in Gemini, because it's that Gemini they're both actually planets that are both signs are mutable signs. And I did a reading recently that where I was looking, and the mutable signs with this weird energy that was going on did just fine, because they were like rolling with it. Capricorn did really good too, but it was like they were able to roll with things, and be with your Jupiter and Gemini, you will be able to do that and communicate well, I feel, because that's Gemini's whole thing. So probably you're a very, very good communicator, very expansive. And yeah, it's very a very good thing to, and I'm happy because Gemini is my first house and Jupiter entered, and I'm like, oh, good times
Yeah.
coming. It's very fortunate. And being in your second house, that's more money, that's more resources, maybe not money, but resources. Okay, oh, this came in, I can do more with that. I can, yeah.
It's also
is where I
time. If
can't
you're a
look
good
at-
organizer, you're saving time. That's a resource.
It is.
Your
is where I
energy is a
can't-
resource.
I don't like
Sorry,
looking
Liz.
at my chart. Just saying, I don't like looking at my chart. Saturn in retrograde, 29 degrees in that second house. 29 degrees, 38 minutes.
What do you have?
And
I
I'm
got
about to have
my
a
Pluto's 29
second
degrees,
Saturn
so
return.
What sign, my dear?
Well, this is Placidus. I think it's in.
The sign
it's
doesn't
in
matter.
Pisces. It's in the last.
You have your Saturn and Neptune together, right? Neptune's on top of your Saturn right now.
Chiron is. Well, no, I have to look at that. Hold on. With transit.
Yeah.
Saturn
Yeah.
and Venus are both
Yeah.
in Gemini.
You and I are going to have a talk,
Yeah.
Miss E.
Can I get like
Especially
two
with the
key points of what
29s right
not
now,
to do?
Liz.
What do I not do? Is this why I'm so teary-eyed? Like, what's happening? What do I do?
You're
Energy first.
You'll be very emotional, but
I have been.
but Saturn is there to help you straighten that out. And I think too, with getting financial things in order, and because things probably haven't been super clear. So because Neptune can do that. So being that it's at 29 degrees, yeah, that's a pretty big thing. But you and I have to meet privately, Miss E. And
Well, I tortured the AC guy into giving me my money back yesterday.
Good. That's a
I
resource.
saw,
That's
I
a
saw your
talent.
TikTok on that. I loved it.
That's what that was about. Jen.
That's the debate skill, and you're pointing out justice, something that's unjust.
Oh, no, you don't.
That's
Yeah.
a resource. Yeah, and 29,
And
9
then I
and 2 is
immediately-
11.
Not
You pulled
putting
the
up with
justice
it.
card already.
29.
Yeah.
No. No, I did not put up with it, and then I immediately felt really bad.
That's
No.
just conditioning. Don't pay attention to that.
That's your synapse. Yep, that's
Yeah,
that's the
that's just
the
conditioning.
worn out pattern. Be like, no, I am proud of myself. Absolutely, you stood up for
And
yourself.
then I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
so mean. Anyway.
I don't
That's
think
the
there's
first
mean
one.
bone in you, though. I don't think that you have any meanness in you.
Wouldn't we like the video of that, her going after? Be like, no,
Yes.
no. I want to
Yeah.
see. I would have been.
Because even the meanness of that, I would expect
Just
not
the
to be.
Oh,
standing
no,
up. Yeah.
no. I am. I have a Leo moon and a Leo Mercury.
Oh,
So
so
the
people know exactly
fire,
how you
yeah.
feel, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No having to
I
guess
see it.
your
I
mood.
wanted it's mine.
No one has to guess your
All
mood.
over my face.
Yeah.
Brandy has
Kind of brings up another little
second house
segue,
is 6
Liz.
degrees
Of
Capricorn with the Sun, Mercury, and Venus.
Second house. Well, you're a very hard worker, obviously.
Mhm.
And being anything that's in Capricorn is there to work, basically. And Mercury, see, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Where's your Saturn located at? I mean, you have all these resources in that second house. You're being able to speak. Your sun is there. What really makes you shine? You're being able to communicate with other women. Obviously, Venus is also an indication of your relationships with other women. Being practical. But where is your Saturn located? Because Saturn will rule that second house of resources. So that would be a thing that will tie in as well, where you look at house rulerships. But we will do something like this where we have people in the chat and we'll bring them up and we'll either do like a numerology and astrology or tarot and astrology. And that's kind of what we want to do, to be able to look at those different things, because I have fun doing that. And I think we all do. I mean, really, you want to be able to look at the whole chart, but this gives you a taste of what you can learn about your chart. And just by making those connections. But I would say that Brandy, I think so. Tell me if I'm right. You actually probably communicate very well with women. That resource, in that second house of things that are important. Is that true, Brandy? 10th house in Virgo containing Saturn and Jupiter. Wow, nice. So communication, yeah. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you do, Brandy?
Yeah, 10th house in Virgo containing Saturn and Jupiter. Okay. So it's like, yeah, you get the details. You're probably super organized. Or at least it's like, I'm not organized, but I can tell you where everything is.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, thanks, Brandy.
I mean, I used to have a desk that looked like just like a mesh of papers everywhere, but I knew where everything. If you asked me where a certain paper was, I knew where it was.
Yep.
And
Einstein was the same way.
So
yep.
So
don't feel bad.
But Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and you have Mercury in that second house as well. So communication, way that you learn, things like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Brandy, that's a good trade to know, a good skill to know. Oh my goodness.
Did you see that? I was a welder and welding teacher, and yes, organized. Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love that. She's a fire sign. I feel like she's a fire sign, but I don't know.
Well, Capricorn's second house would be, then Pisces would be your rising sign then, right? Pisces rising. If Capricorn's your second house.
We'll help you, Rebecca.
Yeah.
We'll help you.
Start with your natal chart, but you can get so much out of, when I'm reading somebody's chart.
I knew it.
It's
knew it.
First house Sag. Oh yeah. So
we'll have a game one day for that too.
Yeah,
we'll guess your sign.
Well, yeah. So Sag technically in whole sign houses is their first house. So it's the different house systems that you use.
Yeah.
They're all Gemini moon. Oh my God, how much Mercury do you have in your chart, Brandy? Seriously.
Smarty pants.
My goodness. And Gemini moon, that hands, right? Gemini.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
crazy.
I was trying to talk about the
Aw.
difference between the whole signs and the Placidus. Why do you choose the difference? Because I remember you said you choose it. One is better for predictive, and one is better for like the soul, understanding
Right,
your soul.
right.
So can you explain that?
Yeah. I and oddly enough, I actually learned astrology late, and one of the reasons I think so, Saturn on my South Node, ninth house astrology, was that I was probably astrologer in a previous lifetime, long time ago. I probably used the whole sign house system. But what I will tell you about the whole sign house system and what I found effective in it is that it's based on the fact that for like 700 years, um, like Mesopotamia, they had astrologers. That's all they did. They looked at what was going on in the world and looked at the sky. So it was very 3D, very physical, right? That they were making, oh, we had an eclipse. What happened to the emperor? Kind of thing. What happened to the king then? And what the rains, all of this energy, they made note of everything and correlated that with the skies, right? And you will find that Placidus has not been, it's very effective. And it's based on more of the, the ascendant and MC, IC, and descendant. That's where those houses are based. You will find that evolutionary astrologers use that more. And their first thing that they look at in somebody's chart as an evolutionary astrologer, which is a whole different kind of a study, is what is Pluto doing? Pluto in your chart, the nodes in your chart. Those are what they're looking at. And I have had my chart read by different kinds of astrologers, and the information is accurate.
Mhm.
I choose whole sign houses because I find that in the 3D world, it's more predictive. It's more of what's going on now. It's not like it can't tell you things that are the energies, right? It will tell you the energies, but it's much more predictive as far as the 3D world piece in a stupid, ridiculous way. And using perfection houses is even much more that way. It's like, it's so literal sometimes that you're like, you have like Neptune and you have Saturn going retrograde, both of them going retrograde this weekend in Pisces. And a lot about that is like in Minnesota, dam that's about ready to break, dams bursting. When there was a transit that happened when that bridge got ran into by that boat, a structured thing, Saturn, when it turned retrograde or when it turned direct, especially, you'll notice bigger things like that showing up. And so when you're looking at those things, those are all related to water.
Mhm.
And are there going to be issues with toxicity, being that it's Neptune and there could be poisons? So you have to look at the different things that are going on. And that can be in the collective versus your natal chart. So when you're looking at your natal chart, maybe that won't affect you as much because you don't have anything sitting around those degrees or aspected in the angles. Where you have somebody like Miss E who has like the 29-29 thing going on. Yes, that's going to be affecting her. It's going to be, you said it was your Saturn on top of your Neptune, which are the slower moving planets. So it's going to be something that she'll feel like for a matter of months versus where if it's Mercury that's just going, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I find the whole sign house system is much more accurate as far as what physically is going to be happening in your world. And I think that Placidus gives you a much more valued look at your past lives. That's evolutionary astrology, where you came from, what your paths are in life. Numerology does the same thing, talks about life paths.
Yeah.
So
I
there's
think
different things.
some predictive astrology in there too with Placidus, don't you think?
Yeah,
And I
and
also think
you
it's like
can.
who taught you. You kind of get attached to how you learn.
Well, no, and Placidus does have that predictive aspect. It truly
Yeah.
does.
No,
But and so does, you still get some of the evolutionary astrology stuff in the whole sign houses. So, but you learn the techniques for that house system.
exactly.
But that's the reason why I went with what my whole sign system is because probably what I used. And there's different techniques that will not work with Placidus. And there's no such thing as the intercepted houses in
Right.
Holstein House, but it's very much used and interpreted in Placidus,
Right.
which is a good thing. So
Yeah.
you will find people that know both systems. And it's a fascinating thing to compare. So I always think it's always good for someone who has never had their chart read to
Yeah.
get that basic thing, and then they
I
can
agree.
start playing around with other things and go, oh, that's what this means. Because you can like study one person's chart all your life. There's 3,000, how do they say, Pam Gregory?
3,000 different
3,000
aspects.
different, not aspects, but different things in the natal chart,
Yes. Yes.
not including the aspects between the planets.
Right. Exactly.
Variables, that's the word, variables. There's
Variables.
3,000 variables in a natal chart, and that doesn't include the aspects between the planets.
And everyone's unique.
Yeah.
And Liz, we've got 29 degrees of, I'm obsessed with Black Moon Lilith. With Black Moon Lilith is at 29 degrees in Virgo. So wherever 29 degrees Virgo, everybody pull out your little chart, look at 29 degrees Virgo, and she's like the table flipper. That's how I think of her, as like the rebel, the Billie Jean. Was it Billie Jean? Oh God, I'm dating myself now.
Billie Jean
Remember,
King?
she ran away and she cut her hair. Was it the Legend of Billie Jean? I think that's what the movie was called. She dyed it blonde, and it was all about like doing, standing up for herself and that's how I think of Black Moon Lilith. Is where are you going to rebel against the status quo? Where are you putting your middle finger up to that status quo and challenging it? Wherever that is in your chart for you right now, that's the area, the pie chart, that's the area of life, the slice of life.
That's my Black
that'll
Moon
be
Lilith.
happening.
That's my Black Moon Lilith return. I'm a 29 degree.
No,
Black
you're
Moon Lilith
not.
Virgo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, then anything else at 29 degrees is going to get activated. I got 29 degrees Pluto in Virgo.
I don't have anything
So
else
I
at
have
29. I have a
16
28 degree
degrees.
Uranus.
Oh my God,
28.
we're all like, I have Pluto at 16 degrees in Virgo
But it's-
also.
Well, it's
And
also
you guys,
where your
this is
shame
in-
was.
This
Your
is
shame.
in the 7th house, and I don't want any relationship. And
While
I
you're
have Uranus-
changing, you're
I have
flipping,
Uranus
you're
and Pluto
rebelling.
in there
Yeah.
together. Isn't that funny? Both at 16 degrees. No
Yeah, I mean, and that's the
wonder I'm
fascinating part.
divorced.
Well, and really when I'm with this is kind of feels like my astrology group too, because it's like when we look at different people's charts, there's different viewpoints that all
Yeah.
are valid, that come out with how we're reading that aspect. And we all learn the same system, right? So for us, it's like you get those other viewpoints and stuff in with discussion, and then you find out where that person is vibrationally. Like they're in a transition between moving up their Neptune from a lower vibration to a higher vibration, which is a lot of us are doing already, are probably up there pretty well. So, and we're going to be doing that more as the nodes. The North Node is going to be changing into Pisces. And this is part of what we're doing now, is we're reestablishing our spiritual connections. And when the North Node goes into, on January 12th, 2025, the North Node will go into Pisces for that 18 months. And that's, again, that spiritual connection. And there'll be even more people that are opening up to their spiritual side and trying to create that, or else they're just going to be confused if they don't take that action. There's a lot of people that are confused and don't know what's going on and are unsure, and that's what makes them fearful, really. And if you have that higher spiritual connection, you lose a lot of that fear.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that, Dawn, because of when people really understand what those nodes do and how they shift the collective, how they challenge the collective every 18 months. So I did here's like a little cheat sheet on what that looks like, right? So just there's our Aries for North Node, right, guys? South Node is going to be Libra energy. So red for fire, purple for air. And then we have the light bulb of the positives of Aries. And then my scary shadow character here is showing the shadow aspects of Aries. Okay, so within ourselves, we want to ourself balance this energy. And then right in the middle here, north node, south node, we have the light bulb or the light aspects of Libra energy. And then we have the shadow aspects of Libra energy. We not only need to balance each of these, sorry, I'm getting used to this new camera, it's opposite, each of these within ourselves, but then pretend that you're in a dynamic with two people. Okay. And the lesson is the middle ground is autonomy. Okay. Within committed partnership. So you still need to be your own person, standing up for yourself, but not too much I, me, and not too much, oh, I do everything for you, because it's about we. You have to be in the middle, because especially toxic relationships, look at the data since July 17th of 23, and I will guarantee you there's a speak, a spark, a peak, a speak of increased activity on divorces, breakups, because the universe, guys, does not like imbalance. Just like nature balances, if you're not doing this yourself, it's the metaphorical, well, you're getting pushed off the diving board then, because you're right now, it's like the universe is like, to be fair, I've been giving you the lesson to do this since 7/17. And now we're in the last 6 months of that. And when I did this worksheet, it was a couple of days ago, we were at 11 degrees of the north of the nodes. And I was like, interesting. That was Wednesday, June 26th. So
And
626.
Mercury was squaring the nodes then.
Yeah. And then I wrote,
Mercury's-
there's
there you
like
go.
here's what squaring looks like. If you don't know what a square is, if you can see those people like pushing either side of the square, it's like the square gets nowhere, right? So you're having to learn that lesson out of, if this is Venus, the planet of love and beauty, and then each of you are on that side of the square, you're like, no, my way, no, wait, no, my, like the block is not moving. And it always reminds me of the Four of Pentacles. It's like, I'm just going to sit on that square and not move. And with those nodes of fate, this is challenge our lessons through pressure and tension. We've had this 18 months to learn this lesson of balance. And what Don was talking about, the next lesson of moving into Pisces, it's always the sign across the hall. The other sister sign, we each as a collective, every 18 months, have a brand new lesson to learn. So how you guys can look at this, well, look at the 18 months prior to 7/17/23. And that was about Taurus and Scorpio. So Taurus being the fixed sign of my way or the highway, Scorpio also being a fixed sign, just as stubborn, but maybe in a little more covert kind of way of, I'm going to get my way no matter what. You can go, okay, fine, you like that, Taurus, then, but watch me go. Like, watch me do it anyway. That was all about learning risk, using how to take a calculated risk, not the south node of, I'm just going to, the chariot energy, drive my chariot off the road because I want it when I want it. I see it, I want it, it's mine. I'm going to get it without thinking. That would be more south node. Taurus being too safe, like I'm going to stay in this job because it brings the money for my family, but I hate it. Then we saw a massive number of clients that are like, oh my God, I just lost my job. During that 18 months, I had a shit ton of just like, it was client after client after client. Like, what the French toast? Like, what happened? And that I'm like, that is why. And then when we're starting to get into, we have 6 months and that 11 degrees left to kind of learn this balance again within ourselves, the shadow and the light. How can I come into the middle of that? How can I come into the middle of this within self? I'm going to come into balance. And then if my partner is not in that middle space with me, universal Drano is going to come along and be like, you got to go because it ain't balanced. So you're jumping off the board, but I'm going to push your butt if you don't do this anyway. So if you're thinking of when we get to our little why point of, the nail biting, anxiety riddled, scary part of, think of when you're little for the first time peeking over the edge of that high ass diving board and you're just like, ugh. But then you just do it. The 15 minutes of insane bravery.
Yep.
You're getting pushed anyway. Those relationships will not last anyway. So might as well kind of go with the energy and use the next solstice. Our episode 4 was the summer solstice, January to June of the roller coaster. And then this one is beginning of July, new moon in Cancer. So especially if it's a wish that you're putting to the universe about your home, about your foundational self, about your roots, first chakra, tethering, anchoring yourself in, that wish is going to come to fruition at the end of December with the winter solstice. So again, think of it as another big roller coaster. We still have the little ones every month, right? We want to build the tracks on the way up and then enjoy the ride on the way down. Every month you got 2 weeks to build tracks. And then you ride the ride. The ride is you get what you get and don't throw a fit because you built those tracks, right? So whenever we hit that full moon, it's like, just bide your time because in 2 weeks you're going to get to build new tracks. So don't sweat it. Just be like,
Don, quick question.
Not a fun ride. Let me tweak it.
What is your astrology group?
Oh, it's the group that that we learned astrology all together. So we have like this little thing where we all meet our class has long been done. So we meet every Tuesday.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah,
really cool.
and like any new things coming up. Like one of them is going to do some medical astrology stuff.
I love that.
And Natsko, my friend Nat, and she's the one that made these earrings for me. I mean, these are Eclipse earrings that she made. So she's actually a jeweler as well.
Oh, beautiful!
Brilliant person. She has 0 degrees. Huh?
Bring some of your friends on sometime.
Oh yeah. I'll have to maybe do some if I learn this StreamYard stuff. Do some different things with them. But yeah, it would be fun to do some, because we all play with. I mean, we look up everyone's solar return when it comes up, and I'll get our input in. And those are the different things that you can look in your. Start with your natal chart. Somebody asked what was the most your natal chart. Your natal chart by far is the most important thing. It's the chart that was created when you drew your first breath. That's why the timing is so important. And then you can go to move on to other things like I show people when I'm showing them the readings how to pull their solar chart and the 2 or 3 top things to look at. And if they look at I sometimes then look at their chart and go, oh, that looks like it could be an interesting month. Let's just look at that month. So you can do a lunar return chart and take a look at that energy for that particular month too, and what you look at for what's going to be the highlights. So, and progress charts. So those are the things that I look at when I do somebody's reading, as I take their natal chart and then I compare all of those other charts to their natal chart, because that's where the magic happens, right? So those are, I mean, Jen, I've read for Jen, did a full reading for Jen and everything. So
you did for me.
It's your hard wiring, right?
So it's where you start, and then things that, I think we talked about one of the readings where we discussed when would be a good time to talk to your boss about, changing things up.
I hear him. Yeah.
And it happened.
Yeah. The astrology has been just on cue all year. I mean, I could just mark my calendar about what was about to happen to me. It was, and so you did that reading for me. It was the whole year. I'm still going back. Okay, we're at this point of the year now. Let's see what she said.
Yeah.
You were spot on with so much. I mean, you told me I was going to be so busy. You were not lying. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So Jen, with you being so busy, what do you do to have fun or to go out? Do you walk? Do you exercise? Like, what do you like to do?
I
Do you
did
have
it.
time to dance?
I didn't. I didn't. So me taking this move that I have yesterday was my last day at the real estate business, and so I don't have a backup plan. Like that's why she sent me the free falling, because that's what I feel like right now. I just
That's
took this
it.
leap of faith with
Well,
no,
be sure to take some time.
net.
Don't fill it completely with work.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean,
take
because
some
that's the thing.
time.
I was so burnt out. I was working 3 different jobs at that point, and there was no time for me. So
Just start with taking a
Yeah.
walk. Just
So yeah,
Rebecca-
when I saw the one comment about just sitting, watching the nature, just watching the water,
Yeah.
I mean, I want to do things like that again. I
Yeah,
need
you-
things like that again.
I can feel that from you. I'm like, okay, Jen, what do you do?
I don't. Yeah.
I
Yep.
need
I need to
something.
get grounded again. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, and ask the animals. Like your energy always reminds me of like Snow White, just that just such sweetness and just like a lover of all things and just so light and airy. That's like, so do that. I swear to God to you, you will, like, the animals will tell you. They will like fly up to the branch you're sitting under. But I don't know if you guys feel that too, but I was just like, it's such a Snow Whitey energy of just like all the cool things. Like
Yeah.
And I remember
that's how you feel to me anyway. So I think you'll get a lot with, I bet you
I
will.
think I'm frozen.
So,
I don't know where that
Brandy,
came from, but
I am Pisces Sun and Pisces Rising, Capricorn Moon, but I have a lot of Virgo in my chart too. So I think that
Right.
that's what people see a lot is the Virgo that comes out.
Well, and when we looked at her chart, and one of the things that surprised me is when I looked at her chart, she had her progress chart. I looked at it. Sometimes the progress chart doesn't mean that much. I always look at it just to see if there's something. She had so many things that were being activated in her 7th house of relationships from her progress chart that were like hitting bang
Yeah.
on her natal chart. So it was like, oh, you've got some one-on-one personal relationship things that are no wonder, right?
yeah.
The one-on-one and contracts and all those things, which have been all of those things for her have been activated, not just the romantic relationship piece of it, but also
Yes,
the
it's
contracts with other people, the one-on-one contracts with things that she's doing. All of that is changing. And because there were some things in her progress chart that were moving right into her 7th house on top of placements in her 7th house. So that was a big, and it surprised me because I was like, oh, I think we've got a big answer here as to what's. So sometimes the progress chart says nothing for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden we'll be like, now it's time. It is the time. It is the time.
You can feel it.
Can you guys see and hear me? Can you guys see and hear me?
Oh, I think you stopped. Yeah, I do think you froze.
I'm
froze?
frozen, so I
Um,
apologize, everybody.
who
I'll
was it?
just listen.
Rebecca. Rebecca asked about the North Node, her North Node in Pisces, and that being of significance. Yes, ma'am. It's your nodal return. It's what house is that in? It'd be interesting. Based on the house that it's in, I would use whole sign houses because that's how I learned stuff for me. But you can also take a look at it as your in Placidus as well. Do you know how many different house systems there are? I've had mine run by like 4 different house systems, at least 4. So there are so many different types out there that are used. My friend Nat she does dream readings with a different house system. So
That's cool.
So there's all the 11th house. Oh, okay.
So her North Node is in Pisces in her 11th house. Is that right?
Is that okay? I just want to make sure. No, that was Rebecca. Rebecca.
Okay.
But that would be about community, right? And finding, to me, if it were that 11th house, I would say that would be about you finding your community, your spiritual community, and being part of that. You know,
Friends and good fortune. Yeah.
That being in your 8th house, the 8th house, there's different significators for the 8th house. It can be other people's resources. it can be spirituality. It can be, and it will be spirituality. Pisces is there as well. It's, yeah. So it's very definitely, it can be also about what goes on behind closed doors, because the seventh house would be the house of relationship, and the eighth house is what goes on behind closed doors in that relationship. The eighth house can also be your partner's money if you use derivative houses. So depending upon what's going on in your life, but it's meant for you to take, it's you taking the reins, right? It's going to be you taking the reins for that. Yeah. And
And Pisces and Virgo too would be like the middle point, I would think, of the dreaminess, right? And then
magic.
that would make sense because then you have Virgo anchoring that other side. That is so Snow White. Nailed it. That is literally it, because then it's like the mother energy. I always like, even though Virgo's not Venus, it always feels like Venus energy to me. But it's like the mother earth energy, like the mother of the animals, but
Living in the
then
woods,
you have
cleaning
the
the house,
dream.
right?
Yeah, you have the dream weaver on the other side.
Right.
Like that's such a cool, that I think that's going to be a neat node to go through, especially after the job one, the relationship one, and now we've kind of got this dream weaver energy of how can I ground my dreams? Like how can I add those Virgo check the lists and into the dreaminess part of it, of making my way towards that. And that could very well be just on that little staircase every single time we stop. We're going, is this getting me closer to or farther away from the dream that I want? You've got to just pause and ask. We don't want to keep blazing through. It's literally, we overthink and overthink and overthink, when really it's a yes or no. You got two buckets. You have to put a pebble in one of them. Right. But then we just go, I'm not going to walk up next to the buckets. Like, we don't want to have to do that, but just, which one you want to put, what marble, what bucket you want to put that marble in. And literally that comes to, does it feel good or does it not feel good? But we want to insert reason X, Y, Z and number 57 and, construe it, because really we're trying to kind of rationalize, how can I stay in fear where I don't have to do anything? And that's just human nature. We all do it, and especially if they're patterns and conditions like Liz was that Liz or Dawn? It's conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Our body is used to doing that. We've never seen anybody make decisions for themselves. They just were the leaf in the lake or the stream that had to deal with whatever life threw at them. So we never learned. We never learned how to be bold and like go, I'm going to do this. I never saw that, so then it's just kind of like, oh, well, you take what's kind of given to you. No, you fucking don't. No, you don't. Mm-mm. No, it's that moment when you go, I get to decide where I put my marble, because that's what just feels better to me. And I know this doesn't feel good. Why am I still doing something that doesn't feel good? I am not dumb. I am not brave. This is just the way, it's the synapse. It's the pattern in the brain. We have to little steps every day to start carving a new neural pathway, because then that's, everybody's always like the healing. And we all go, oh, tired of healing. Like you just, you're just like, I'm done. I mean, like I just want to go.
You're never done.
You're not ever done. But are you ready to put the marble in the bin? That's it. That's the healing. Can you put the marble? Can you choose yes or no? Does this make you feel good? Yes or no? And then putting it in the bin and committing to that. That's, for me, is a simple definition of healing, because I'm no longer doing that neural pathway of fear. I'm choosing something that makes me feel good simply because it does. I'm driving my soul chariot. Midpoints in your astrology chart are another whole like we could do a whole show on midpoints.
Yeah.
even.
And they're
That's
very
his
valid.
goal.
Very valid.
They
right?
also, that's if you're having a problem making that Y point, go to the midpoint in your chart and go, well, what would, mine is Virgo energy. Well, what would Virgo do about this? Make a list and decide pros and cons.
No,
Which one
there's
fills up first?
that's using astrology in a way to use that energy for your benefit. Use that higher vibration. I know when you're talking about neural pathways with Joe Dispenza, that's why he advises going somewhere and doing something different, because you're taking
Cool. Yeah.
yourself out of your normal routine, normal
Yeah.
neural pathway. And
It
sometimes people
stops
get
the
afraid when
path.
it's
Yeah.
even just something different. Oh, I can't go to a different coffee shop. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
They're
And then
afraid because it's
even
different.
asking why not, that's a different neural pathway too.
Yeah.
Because before you
Yeah.
just did it.
Right. And so it's like when you go on vacation, it's so great for your mind because it's different.
Yeah.
And your
Yeah.
mind's like, oh, out of my normal neural pathway.
Yep.
Okay.
That's why when on my birthday, I was like, oh, hell no. I am not. I don't ever remember crying on my birthday. Ever. Not ever. And I was like, you know, terrible. Still sorry, Jen. Like just boo, like ugly cry, like the terrible kind, like the little kid with a snot in his nose kind, like that you used to see on Martin, if you're old enough to remember that show. But it's like, oh, like ugly cry, ridiculous. And I was like, no, I am going to go jump in the pool and get that cool water. It was hot as BALLS out because it was like 99 degrees. And you know what? It was an instant shift. You're so right. It was like, I just knew, I was like, okay, Angie, what do we tell clients? Energy first. I had to snap out of it, moonstruck it. I had to moonstrike it. And then I got the best channeled messages ever because then I was just floating and I let the water cover my ears so I couldn't hear anything. And I had my eyes closed. It was all black. And then when I come home, I sketched everything as fast as I could because I got so much. And that was just simply by, I'm in this boohoo, which is not normal for me. Tend to be pretty high energy in general, but it was terrible. And I probably scared poor Jen to death because it was like, she was probably like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm glad you reached
I
out.
can't believe I sent that to her. I'm so
No,
sorry.
I'm glad you did. I mean, I don't want to think of any of you spending your birthday crying and not reaching out to us. So I'm so glad that you did.
Like,
That's what we're here
is
for.
this? I know, but that's like girlfriends. You know what I mean? I called somebody.
And
I
then
held myself accountable.
we got to have what was it, Saturday night? Just
We had a
laughing
date
and
night
just
on the
having a
phone.
girls' night. Yeah. So I
We got to
enjoyed it.
laugh hard, and it's a shift, right? And then all the syncs that happen, because of that. It's just really, really cool. And you've got, it's more than just sitting around and going, oh, well, I'm going to be grateful when I feel like crap or I don't have any money. No, just shift your energy. That's it. That's
It sounds
going out,
so
turn the
simple.
music on. Something, simple things. If
And
it's
we
singing,
overcomplicate it.
yeah, because then we go up in that 8 and 9 of swords, stinking thinking.
Well, and the
And
world kind of teaches you that you're supposed to be panicked about just all of this stuff, So, like
yeah,
right now, I'm supposed to be very panicked because I don't have another job to replace the income, So, like, it's shifting the energy, though, like what you said. If I'm
right.
the
Like,
energy
no,
first.
energy first.
I did get a message from Elizabeth, Ms. E. She said she's sorry that her computer froze. She wanted us to say, goodbye from her and thank you so much for watching
Shoot.
the show. So she's saying goodbye, and we probably should too because we're like an hour and a half, and we promise that we'll do more lives, people. And in your comments, please.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what kinds of things you're wanting to see.
Are we gonna each pull a couple cards, maybe just to see kind of if people are thinking of pathways, do it on that divine why maybe of if I take path A or path B. So like everybody that ends up watching this and everybody that's here now, you could just kind of go, okay, designate what path A is, designate what path B is, like right now for you. If it's like a should I stay, should I go thing, is it this job or that job? Is it stay in this house or buy a new house? Whatever that is for you, maybe we could. What do you guys think?
We'll
It's
do
Fun
two quick cards.
Friday, just being impromptu.
Yeah, 2 quick cards, I think, each of us.
Okay, cool.
For
So
A and B.
everybody figure out your A and B. Okay. Designate your A and B. Maybe even kind of jot down an animal, a color, or a number too, and let your kind of subconscious there talk to you for a second. Nope, I want the other one.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go first. So
Nice.
the first card, choice A, is 10 of Cups.
Woo! Okay.
Right? And
Mhm.
this is actually in this particular deck, this is somebody's brother that's in here in the water, and she is up on the shore. She, coming to celebrate her wedding, marriage, joining of 2 families, and emotional fulfillment, I would say A. And for the B, the High Priestess, Scheherazade, being on your own and being that knowledgeable person. So A and B, I don't feel like there's a bad choice in this particular choosing here, because I love the High Priestess. I like being alone. I like being able to hold my own counsel. She's very much that. And when the timing is right? And that accumulation of knowledge is also part of that as well. So I feel that, the A being that emotion, it's opposite for me. So I'm like, what the heck am I doing?
I know, same here.
Okay. All right. Duh. But yes, and being the A.
Yeah.
In the front.
There you go.
Over here. I will get used to this, I promise. So the A and the B being here, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I really don't think that's. I think that, sometimes you just need to make a choice, and it's not really that either choice is bad. You're just
Right.
sitting there not making the choice, and you need to make the choice.
Well, and a 10 is really a 1, so that's an Ace of Cups. So that would be, for me, I'm getting that's new love or a renewal of love, A, and there's more people than one person in that card. It might involve a team, or it might involve choosing not yourself, and then the other person is flying solo based on what she knows to be like. And is it other people? Is it expectations? Is it what is making that decision for me? Is this for my best and highest good? Will this get me closer, or will it get me farther? 10 of Cups might be, am I doing it for somebody else? Because there's always someone in there with you at 10 of Cups. Am I staying for the family? Well, no, the kids usually want you to get the hell out too, because they're tired of the fighting, right? It's always like, finally, thank God, like when were you guys going to do it otherwise? But that's just kind of what I was getting to. Are you doing it for yourself, really? With that High Priestess energy, then you can see that as a 1 and a 2, which would then be your Magician and your all 4 aces of potential. And then your 2 is your next step. Together, they, Hangman energy again, spiritual enlightenment. My vote is take the path that's not worn. Just go, Jen.
All right. So I've pulled 2 cards already. For choice A, I got the Knight of Swords. And so I feel like this is the thing that you kind of want the most. This is the thing that, like, you're just so dead focused on this that you don't see any other path around you. This is the thing that you want. But for for choice B, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So I feel like this is the thing that actually pays off for you. And so while this may be the thing that you're just focused on, I think that you do need to have be open to this choice B, because this is the thing that brings in the abundance with the Nine of Pentacles.
Okay, interesting. I'm kind of getting the same thing here. I got 64 wasp for choice A, which is a 10. Okay, so, and a 1, a new potential. So this is a wasp spirit, and it says sometimes life stings. So for me, that choice A is the path we've already taken. That's what that feels like here. It's like, oh, I know that I've been stung by that before, but let me just see if the stove is still hot. Just one more time. That's what that energy feels like. Okay, choice B. Oh. So time to, and I'm getting a beepy, time to collaborate. Ant spirit. I was just talking about the water of that day. That was in my notes of what I drew. Ant was the very first big fat ant. And then one crawled up my leg as I was getting ready to leave. There's puzzle pieces here, time to collaborate. There are 2 people in that energy. So sometimes it's like I get by with little help from my friends. We need to sometimes have somebody help us get our energy up, or kind of light a fire under our butt, just to get us. That's why I must have told the story. Like, I'm going to be accountable to Jen. I need to light a fire under my own butt. I'm going to reach out. And then I'm like, no, this is not okay, self. This stung, yes, but what can I do about it? Raise my energy. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to change it 1 to 2 again. So now this is an 11 together, which is like the path right in between the columns. So A, doing the thing again that stings, or moving on from the thing that stung. Path B would involve letting other people help you, and involve the community.
Great.
That's what I got.
Hopefully that has helped make these choices a little bit easier. And I think that that's probably a good place to close out for today. I appreciate you guys getting together for this and just testing it out and seeing how it works. It's new for all of us. Learning curves.
That was fun.
All
So,
right.
love to everyone. We will see you soon.
All right.
Yep. Thank you guys for being our little test group and coming to play with us today. We love you so much, and much love to you for the weekend. And just pick your bucket. Put the marble in the bucket. That's all you got to do. Step 1.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.